That's very pretty. Thank you. Thank you first, Audubon. I'm very proud to be here, and I want to say that I am very honored and proud to be in the company of the other honorees tonight, this afternoon, Miss Carter and Miss David and Miss Beinecke. The environment and our children are I can't think of anything that is more important, and my involvement with the environment came out of helping children, sick children, back in 1992 when I started working with my husband with children with cancer and children with sickle cell anemia. And I just didn't stop asking the questions, and I have to say, I've done research for over the last 20 years through the NRDC. I've learned a lot of my information and a lot of the science through the NRDC over the years, and I'm just so glad that they've been around for so many years, way before I came along and doing my little part in the world. Also, Beyond Pesticides is another. There are many organizations that have been around for years trying to educate all of us about all of these toxins. When I look at the state of our children's health, it is very, very poor. Cancer still is the leading cause of death by disease in children. 1 out of 6 children are living in poverty in this country. 1 out of 6 children are diagnosed with a neurodevelopmental disorder, everything like ADD, ADHD, bipolar, learning impairments. 1 out of 6 children are considered overweight and or obese. 1 out of 400 to 500 children are diagnosed with diabetes. 1 out of 150 children are diagnosed with autism. Asthma is still the leading chronic illness in children and the major reason for absenteeism in schools across the country. 1 out of 8 babies are born premature, and along with premature births come many complications as that child develops into a young adult. This is the reality. This is the state of our children's health. Why are our children so sick? Well over 80% of all of our chronic illnesses, including cancer, are linked to environmental toxins. Everything that's in our water, our air, our soil, our food, in our everyday products that we all use throughout the day, personal care products, things that most of us go through our day, we wake up and don't even think about. The important thing here is when you have this information, don't let it paralyze you. And that's what happens. I asked the question, I thought, well, gee, if we know all this, and we actually have known a lot of this for well over 20 years, and actually going back to Rachel Carson, of course. And the evidence is all there. Why then do we all continue to live the way we do? And as I asked the question, I found people know this intellectually, but they become paralyzed by the information because they don't know what to change in their lives. They don't know what to do about it. So part of our mission at the Environmental Center is to help and educate people how simple and easy it is. And that's why we came up with the Greening the Cleaning program, which we started in hospitals and schools and all institutions. And by demand, we had parents saying, well, gee, if you implemented non-toxic cleaning agents in hospitals, shouldn't we be using that in our own homes? So you get people thinking about all of these things on their own. And I do believe that there are no small changes, but there's single fundamental changes that we can all make. And those single fundamental changes are huge changes. For example, if you decide to change out just even one toxic cleaning agent for a non-toxic one, just think of the elimination of that exposure to you and your children, and then also you're not dumping all those chemicals down into our waters and polluting our waters, which ends up in our drinking water and our bathing water, and of course it affects all of our animals and our birds and our aquatic life. Or you can even start with an organic food. But my point is starting with one thing, and when you feel comfortable and confident that you can keep that one thing, and that one thing isn't a trend, but it truly is a change that you've made in your life, that's a huge difference. It has an immediate impact giving your child an organic apple every day versus an apple sprayed with a bunch of toxic pesticides that are known carcinogens and neurotoxins and hormone disruptors. Well, when we're educated with that information, the choice is really easy. But even further than that, the accessibility and the reality have to be there. I've gone and traveled through many neighborhoods, and they laugh. Yeah, right, organic. We don't have organic. We can't even get fresh fruits and vegetables in our neighborhoods, never mind organic ones. So this is part of the process. By educating and creating demand, you create solutions. I want to say that, so children are my priority, and I think if even with our legislation, with all the laws, children have never been considered. Any regulations we have at all, in fact, it's considered only by safety, how it would affect an adult male, not even an adult woman. So there's a lot of change on the legislative end, too, to help support everything we advocate and do as consumers. So there's many levels here that we all can get involved and be active in, and they're all actually very simple, fundamental ways, whether you get involved in your community through legislation. In fact, we're working with the Kids Safety Chemicals Act, which would demand that manufacturers prove the safety of their products and that it's tested so we know that their products aren't being made with carcinogens or neurotoxins or teratogens or endocrine disruptors or hormone disruptors. There's well over 80,000 chemicals being released in our environment that we are all breathing and eating and ingesting on a daily basis. And there's this chemical cocktail that happens. I'm not going to, and I ask you not to wait till the EPA or anyone else or a scientist goes and examines and tests every single chemical to say, oh, it's safe, because that's not going to happen. We need to be proactive and demand, and we can demand by being consumers. Everything, being conscious of the makeup that we buy, the deodorant that we all use, the cleaning products that we use, the food that we buy, and you get the picture. The list goes on and on. I mean, it's every aspect of our lives. I mean, as I stand up here, I think about all the things that I do that are healthy and non-toxic and green, but oh my God, I probably have a bigger list of the things that I'm still doing that are nowhere near non-toxic, starting with my hair color. I love to color my hair. I don't want to be gray. I think beauty's important and it's not frivolous. And so this is a reality that we all have, these choices. What do you do? Same with our clothing. That's another issue. So there are many things. I'm truly inspired, I have to say, to end with Mother Teresa. She was working with the lepers in Calcutta, and a journalist was with her one day, and he said to her, how are you going to take care of all these sick people and these lepers? There's so many. How are you going to do this? And she said, I'm going to start with the leper in front of me. And that's my true inspiration. I think if we all, God bless you, if we all live by that and start with the person in front of us, start with the child in front of us, I think that we can solve the problems of the world with, like Laurie David said so eloquently, with the global warming, and a big part of that is reducing our exposure to environmental toxins. And we can start to eliminate and bring down the epidemics. All these chronic illnesses that I mentioned today, they're in epidemic proportions, and unless we do this, we will only be creating a worse problem for our children. So I thank you very much today.